So could this be my new favourite folding e-bike? So I've tried other e-bikes. Most of them are folding to fit in the back of the camper van. And most of the time they're quite chunky or they're really small. Whereas this one fits right in the middle of that. And I think it's actually quite good, albeit it's the most basic of any of the bikes that I've tried for a while. Now, when we started off getting e-bikes, we started off with a sort of a mountain bike style, 21 gears and a little battery pack on the front. Very basic, but it did fold, although it was quite big because there were still 26-inch wheels. When we moved from the motorhome to a camper van, obviously it isn't possible to carry something that big around. So we went for the little small ones. Problem with the little small ones is the battery life isn't great on them. And if you really enjoy going out for a ride, well, they're not so enjoyable. They're like a little commuter bike. So then I went to the opposite end of the scale with bigger wheels, much heavier, bigger battery life, and then you can go out and cycle for days and you do like 80 or 90 miles on them. But they weigh like 40 kilos, so they're quite heavy to lift in and out of the camper van. So I've kind of been looking for something that really fits in the lightweight side of things, something that doesn't take up so much space, something that you can still enjoy cycling. You can still go out and do 20 miles in a go and come back and it still feels, you know, fine. You're not sort of fatigued. You didn't end up banging your knees on the handlebars and all that kind of stuff. And I think this is it. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a comparison. I don't normally do this in a little bike review, but so impressed with this little thing that I wanted to really kind of show where it sits in terms of like the three bikes that I've had, because, you know, sometimes you guys want to know that kind of stuff. So that's the bike that I take everywhere right now. Obviously this is the new one we got from Andy, and this is our old one that we've both been riding, but this is actually Mandy's. And yeah, you can see from that it's like small, little bit bigger, a little bit bigger again. Small wheels, so you know, 16-inch wheels, 20-inch wheels, 20-inch wheels. Those are the same size, just obviously tyres are different. Same size motor in all three, 250 watts. So yeah, it's sort of a lot of questions asked by people, you know, why did you choose that one, or why did you choose that one? Mandy's got a limited amount of space, so she can't fit that, and also that's, like I say, it's 38 kilos, 40 kilos, so it's a lot of weight to lift in and out of the van. So those are, like I say, pretty much the same weight, so it's going to be easier for Mandy to lift that in and out of a van, because she can already lift that one in and out of a van.
As with all folding bikes, they're quite simple. Little red tab on this one and a lever to fold the handlebars down. They fold quite nicely at the side. Again, a little red tab and a lever that makes the frame fold in half. Just be careful, there are cables inside the frame, so when you do fold and unfold, don't trap the cables in there. The pedals obviously fold out of the way as well, and just make sure that the pedals are enough out of the way that when you fold it, it doesn't catch on a wheel. And then it's simply just a quick release on the seat post, and that gets out of the way. And that is it, all nicely folded.
So I thought I'd put them in the boot so you can see where the height difference is. Obviously you can lie them flat if you want to lie them flat or upright or whatever, but yeah, literally squeeze it in the boot, squeeze it in the boot. That one goes in the passenger footwell, so this one will definitely go in the passenger footwell, because it's slightly narrower seemingly when it's folded down with the handlebars. So I got this because Mandy saw a review video on somebody else's channel and said that looks perfect for what she needs. So yeah, got one, and we've both tried it, and I think I'm going to get one as well now, because I think it's that good. I know it's a compromise, but most things are compromise. But yeah, let's go over the spec and then we can talk more about what I think about it. So it's an aluminium frame, like I say, folds in the middle, and as far as weight wise, it's around about 21 kilos. So you can take the battery out to save a little bit more weight, but other than that, if the battery's all in it, it's about 21 kilos. You have mechanical disc brakes or cable disc brakes, front and rear, and they're really good. I don't know what they've done differently about them, but they are very sharp, they're very efficient, and unlike other cable brakes we've tried, which tend to fade and they're not as good, these will stop like really quickly. So yeah, really like them. So it's a 250 watt motor in the hub at the rear, and then you've got 7 gears as well. Obviously you can control the gears via the Shimano shifter. So unlike the fat tyre bikes that I've had, this is still a 20-inch rim, but it's a 20 by 1.25 tyre. So it's quite a skinny tyre and a skinny wheel. You would probably consider it to be a little bit bigger than a normal road bike tyre, but in comparison to the fat tyre, obviously it's just kind of around about a quarter of the size, which does mean its rolling resistance is less than the fat tyre, which does mean that it's easier to cycle, which probably explains why you get a little bit more battery life out of it as well. But the tyres that it comes with have been perfectly okay. We did muddy track, gravel track, normal road. Yeah, they're totally fine. Felt very stable through that as well. Battery compartment is there and basically just operates with a key, and it pulls out, so you can leave it on inside the frame, or you can take it out to charge it. Or like I say, if you want to save a bit of weight while you're handling it, take the battery out and that saves a little bit of weight that way. Nice plastic mud guards front and rear to give you a little bit of protection against, you know, road, water or mud splashes. Got a nice little bell that's built into the brake lever. Very nice sound to it. And simple controls on handlebars. One simple control for switching it on and off. Got a nice stand as well built in there. It's got a light on the front, and once you're powered on, just basically press the power button briefly and that turns the front light on and off. And you do get a battery powered light to go on the back there, and again that's just a little bit of a press of a button and that comes on and off, and that's USB rechargeable, so that's nice and compact as well. Suspension in the seat post really gives it a lot more comfort than you might imagine. It hasn't got suspension anywhere else on it, but in all fairness, from riding it for the last few days, both of us have said that it doesn't actually give a harsh ride. It's quite surprising actually, for the type of bike it is, for the price it is, for the fact that you've only got one sort of level of battery assistance. There's no screen up there that tells you all your details about how fast you're going and all that kind of stuff. So you would call it a sort of budget basic bike. Comes in currently about £799, but it rides really nice. It's a solid bike, no squeaks, rattles or anything like that on there. You have a lot of comfort and a lot of control over it, and it feels, you know, sort of very stable, both on road and off road. So as far as the power is concerned, basically just press and hold the button, 3 light comes on and it's powered up. That's it. There's no different power levels. That's just powered on. You get electrical assistance or you don't. It's also easy to ride. If you take the battery out without any electrical assistance, it's just as easy to ride. Obviously you don't get any electrical assistance if you're going up hills or whatever, but it's really easy to ride, just like you would imagine a little 7-speed folding bike to ride. So I rather like that. But with the battery in there and with it powered on, you've got one level of power mode. But if you start to put more pressure on the pedals and put more power in, then it basically gives you more battery power. So if you're just pedaling gently, you'll get a little bit of assistance, but if you really want to sort of start going for it and pedaling, put a lot of power in there, then the motor will actually kick in more and give you more assistance. So even though you've only got essentially an on and off for the assistance mode, the intelligent system in there that is managing the power actually recognizes how much force you're putting in the pedals and then sort of matches that with the power, which means getting up hills is actually really simple. You don't have to worry about anything other than finding the right one of the 7-speed gears to get you at the right cadence up the hill, and as soon as you start to put force on the pedals, the motor kicks in and gives you that assistance. It's so simple but so brilliant that it's unlike anything else I've tried before, and it's quite shocking in all fairness, because I was thinking, oh, only one level of battery assistance, well how's that going to work? Well actually, in practicality, it works better than you choosing which level from multiple levels of battery assistance. Go figure. So speaking about electrical assistance modes and everything else, one thing that sometimes really sort of annoys me about the other bikes that I've ridden is that as you start to pedal, you've got so many turns of the crank before the motor kicks in. And when it kicks in, it's like a whoa, you know, it takes off with you. Whereas this doesn't. This basically is very, very gentle. So as soon as you start to turn the crank, the motor's basically kicked in. But it's as you turn more and put more power on, it gives you more power. So therefore, there's not that sudden surge, you know, like whoa, whatever, that you get with other bikes that I've tried anyway, where the assistance seems to be slightly delayed. But yeah, 7-speed Shimano gear set, which is a standard cassette on the back there. Which does mean that you have an option if you wanted to, if you do ride an awful lot. And you know, one of the things about these bikes is if you're going up hills, sometimes first gear isn't quite right, that you really struggle to get up hills. And then if you're going down the flat, 7th gear isn't quite right, that your legs are spinning around and you're not really getting anywhere. So the fact that it's got an easy to change cassette on the back there does mean you can upgrade it like I've done on other bikes, to give you that broader range of gears to get you up hills, but also to allow you a more normal cadence as you're going faster down the straights. So yeah, I love the fact that these bikes are easy to upgrade. Same for example as well, if you wanted to change these for hydraulic brakes, not that you need to, but if you did want to change these for hydraulic brakes, that's easy too. If you wanted to change the handlebars as well for more wider handlebars to give you more stability, or a little bit of a riser on them as well, maybe to allow you to stretch out the distance, you know, sort of some of these bars allows you to move the handlebars more forward to stretch the distance out between where you sat and the handlebars, then all those are possible as well. It's a standard headstock on there, standard handlebars. Just getting buzzed by a Chinook at the moment. We went out for a 20-mile ride the other day in all sorts of different sort of, you know, uphill, downhill, on the flat, twisty turny, had a bit of a pub stop in the middle and everything like that, bit of food, and yeah, I think it was 21 miles. Used one level of the battery for that sort of distance, and at certain times we were off-road, Mandy was using the throttle more, and obviously certain times she was going uphill and the battery was kicking in more. So there was a varied amount of, you know, a little bit of power used and a lot of power used. Like I say, from the 3-level indicator that you get on the handlebar, it only used one out of there. Then got the battery, put it back on charge, and it's around about 120 watt charger. It's a mains charger, and that took it around about 4 hours to charge that back up again. So I'm thinking that maybe it was kind of half full or half used, whichever way you want to look at things, from 20 miles. In real terms, in real life, you should easily get around about 40 miles range out of it. Now again, it's a little bit difficult because there is no display on there that tells you about how many miles you've done or anything like that. But you can always add a little bike computer. They're usually around about sort of 10-15 pounds off Amazon, where you put a little sensor that detects whatever the wheel's spinning rate at, and that'll tell you what miles you're doing. I just use my watch because my watch tells me the distance I've covered, and you know, when I go into an activity, I choose e-bike ride, and then it tells me the distance I've travelled. So I'm not actually missing the fact that it's not got that information on there, to be fair. I just think for such a budget bike, coming in at just under £800, so I think it's £799 right now. They've got a special deal on, which is, you know, why we got one. So yeah, £799, you're getting a very compact folding e-bike that's quite lightweight considering everything you get with it. Very well constructed and very well sort of designed, with bigger wheels than you might imagine. So the 20-inch wheels, which are going to give you more stability than you might imagine on other small compact folding e-bikes. So for me, it's difficult not to get excited about this. I mean, Mandy loves it, I love it. It also matches almost the colour of Mandy's van, which I think she loves it that little bit more for. But I just love the simplicity about it. As usual with these bikes, you get them, you unbox it, you assemble it, so easy. You know, sort of like popping the front wheel on, pop the pedals on, pop the seat on. So you pop the stem up, put the handlebars in place. It's just a matter of then adjusting everything. Did have to put the mud guards on, and also had to install the front light. And I've chosen to install the throttle. So on full throttle, going down the straight with no wind, nothing else around, got to about 15 miles an hour. Right then, I just thought I'd share this because I still get a lot of questions about are there any e-bikes that I've tried recently that you can recommend for camping, for those that are like us with a camper van, you want something that fits into a smaller space or put in the boot of a car, that kind of thing. Yeah, I think this is cracking. Like I say, I'll put a link in the video description down below, and they've currently got a sale. I think you get about £50 off or something like that. So well worth it if you're interested. So thanks for watching my review, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care, folks. Bye.